The Story of Ferdinand by Monroe Leaf. Drawings by Robert Lawson. The Story of Ferdinand. Once upon a time, in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Buttercup.
Not Buttercup, Ferdinand.
Oh, Ferdinand. All the other bulls he lived with would run and jump and butt their heads together. But not Daisy.
It's not Daisy, it's Ferdinand.
Oh, Ferdinand, that's right. He just liked to sit quietly and smell the flowers. He had his favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day long and smell the flowers.
Maybe because there's so much flowers.
I bet it smelled pretty good. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him.
He was a cow, but he was a boy cow.
Yeah, that's a boy cow. She was afraid he would be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head.
No, you say names, not words.
Oh, I'm sorry. But Daffodil would shake it.
It's not Daffodil.
Oh, that's right. What is his name again?
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonesome, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Tulip grew and
It's not Tulip, it's Ferdinand.
Okay, Ferdinand grew and grew until he was very big and strong. All the other bulls who had grown up with him in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other and stick each other with their horns. What they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight in the bullfights in Madrid.
Daddy?
Yes?
Ferdinand? He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. But not Rose Petal.
It's not Rose Petal, it's
Of course.
Ferdinand.
He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights of Madrid. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting, leaping and jumping, so the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Primrose.
It's not Primrose.
My goodness.
It's Ferdinand.
All right. Ferdinand knew they wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down
And smell the flowers.
and smell the flowers. He didn't look where he was sitting. And instead of sitting in a nice, cool grass in the shade, he sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bee and a bull sat on you, what would you do?
I'd sting him.
You would sting him. And that's just what this bee did to Ferdinand.
That's what that.
Wow! Did it hurt? Snapdragon jumped up
It's
and...
not Snapdragon,
goodness.
it's Ferdinand.
Ferdinand jumped up and snorted. He ran around puffing and snorting, butting and pawing the ground as if you were crazy. The 5 men saw him, and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest, fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. What a day it was. Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair.
Why do them have flowers in their hair?
Why do you think?
To make them pretty.
Yeah. How do you think they smelled with all the flowers in their hair?
Very good.
Yeah. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the banderillos, with long, sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick in the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadoros, who rode skinny horses and had long spears to stick in the bull and make him madder. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome and bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and a sword and was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull. And you know who that was, don't you? Is it Dahlia?
Not Dahlia. It was Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, of course. They called him Clover the Clever. And
No.
no?
It was Ferdinand the Fierce.
Oh my goodness. Ferdinand the Fierce.
Instead of Daisy Dowd.
No. And all the banderillos were afraid of him.
Look at the horse.
The horse is very afraid. And the picadoros were afraid of him. And the matador is scared stiff.
Because he's crying.
Yes, he's crying and sweating too.
That's the story.
Eucalyptus ran into the middle
It's
of
not cool. This.
No.
It is Ferdinand.
Oh my goodness.
You know this snake's starting to whip.
That's okay. Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand.
You are supposed to
Oh
go
my
with
goodness. Is it? Oh, right. It's Blueberry.
Not Blueberry.
No,
It's
but-
Ferdinand
Oh, it's
the
Ferdinand.
Fierce.
When he got to the middle of the ring, he saw the flowers and all the lovely ladies' hair. And he sat down quietly and smelled.
The flowers. Now how will I get this pin off?
I don't know. He wouldn't fight and be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the banderillos were mad, and the picadors were madder, and the matador was so mad he just cried because he couldn't show off his cape and sword.
That's so weird.
Yeah, big baby.
Big baby.
So, they had to take Raspberry home.
It's not raspberry.
It's not Raspberry.
It's Ferdinand.
Oh, of course, it's Ferdinand. And for all I know, he's just sitting there still under his favorite cork tree, smelling the flowers just quietly. He's very happy. The end.